morning sun climbed over Hong Kong's Kowloon district on a Thursday in August 1973. Inside Golden Harvest Studios, the massive doors of Sound Stage 2 stood open. Workers carried equipment inside. The air smelled of fresh paint and electrical cables. This was a place where dreams turned into movies, where ordinary people became heroes on screen. 40 crew members filled the space. Each person had a job. Some adjusted cameras on heavy tripods. Others moved giant lights that stood taller than a man. The lights had metal frames and thick power cords. Sound technicians laid cables across the floor. They used bright yellow tape to keep the wires flat. Nobody wanted anyone to trip during filming. Assistant directors walked around with papers clipped to boards. They checked schedules. They marked off completed tasks. Makeup artists waited near folding chairs. They held small cases filled with brushes and powders. Their job was to make actors look perfect under the harsh studio lights. In one corner, extras wore old-fashioned Chinese costumes. They talked quietly among themselves. Some practiced their movements for the fight scenes. Others stretched their arms and legs. They wanted their bodies ready for action. Everyone knew today would be a long day. Film work always was. This production was called Enter the Dragon. The movie featured martial arts action. It mixed Eastern fighting styles with Western filmmaking techniques. The studio hoped it would reach audiences around the world. They believed this film could open doors for Chinese cinema in foreign markets. The star of this production was Bruce Lee. He was 32 years old. His body was lean and muscular. His movements were quick and precise. On this set, he did more than just act. He planned the fight scenes. He advised on philosophical elements of martial arts. Sometimes he even directed the action sequences when the main director stepped back. Bruce demanded perfection. If a punch looked wrong, they filmed it again. If a kick landed in the wrong spot, they reset and tried once more. Some scenes required 15 takes, maybe 20. Bruce would not accept anything less than authentic martial arts on screen. This was his chance to show the world what real fighting looked like. Nobody on that set knew what the future held. Nobody knew that Bruce had less than 2 months to live. Nobody knew this would be his final completed film. To everyone there, it was just another production, hard work, long hours, pressure to get everything right. Among the crew was a young man named Jackie Chan. He was only 19 years old. His frame was small but athletic. Muscles moved under his skin when he walked. Energy seemed to bounce from him like electricity. He had worked in Hong Kong action films since childhood. His father was a stuntman. Jackie grew up watching stunts and learning tricks. As a boy, Jackie trained at the Peking Opera School. This was not about singing. The school taught acrobatics. Students learned to flip and tumble. They practiced falling without getting hurt. They mastered movements that made audiences gasp. Jackie excelled at all of it. His body could bend and twist in ways that seemed impossible. For 2 weeks, Jackie had worked on this Enter the Dragon set. His role was simple. He was a stunt performer. He did background fights. He fell when other actors hit him. He got thrown across the room. The work was not glamorous. The concrete floor hurt when he landed. Bruises covered his arms and legs. His back ached at the end of each day. Bruce Lee pushed everyone hard. If a scene did not look right, they did it again. And again, and again. Jackie had performed some sequences 15 times. His body was tired, but this was how the industry worked. This was how young performers learned their craft. This was how they earned respect, but something was growing inside Jackie. A feeling that started small and got bigger each day. Frustration. He watched Bruce work. He saw how everyone treated Bruce like royalty. The director asked Bruce for opinions. The producers listened to Bruce's ideas. Everyone stepped back and let Bruce lead. Jackie thought to himself during breaks. He believed his acrobatics were more spectacular than Bruce's movements. His flips went higher. His spins looked more dramatic. Bruce was fast, yes, but Jackie was flashy, and movies needed flash. Movies needed excitement that made people talk after they left the theater. This morning, the crew prepared to film the mirror room sequence. This would become one of the most famous scenes in the movie. Bruce would fight multiple opponents in a space filled with mirrors. The choreography was complex. Camera angles had to be perfect. Every movement needed careful planning. Jackie was assigned to be one of the attackers. He would be one of the men Bruce defeated. It was a small role, but Jackie wanted to make it special. He had been practicing moves. He had ideas that Bruce had not told him to do, moves that Jackie believed would make the scene unforgettable. During a setup break, Jackie made a decision. He would talk to Bruce. He would share his ideas. Surely Bruce would appreciate his creativity. Surely Bruce would recognize his talent. Jackie walked toward Bruce, not knowing he was about to make the biggest mistake of his young life. Bruce Lee stood near the camera equipment. He held papers in his hands. These papers contained notes about the fight choreography. Every punch was marked. Every kick had a specific angle. Bruce's mind worked like a computer. He saw the entire fight scene playing out before it happened. He knew where each person would stand. He knew how the camera would capture each moment. Jackie approached from behind. His heart beat faster than normal. Nervous energy filled his chest. He reached out and tapped Bruce on the shoulder. Bruce turned around. His dark eyes focused on the young man in front of him. Jackie used the respectful term. He called Bruce Sifu. This word meant teacher or master. On Chinese film sets, younger performers used this term for senior actors. It showed proper respect. Jackie spoke carefully. He said he had ideas for the fight scene, acrobatic moves, things that would make the scene more exciting for audiences. Bruce did not smile or frown. He simply looked at Jackie with attention. His expression showed interest. He asked what kind of moves Jackie had in mind. This seemed like an invitation. Jackie took it as permission to demonstrate. The young performer stepped back. He needed space. Then he launched into his routine. His body performed a perfect backflip. He landed smoothly. Then he went into a cartwheel. His hands touched the ground. His legs spun over his head. Finally, he executed a spinning jump kick. His body rotated in the air. His leg extended at the perfect moment. The technique was flawless. Years of training showed in every movement. These were moves that made audiences in opera houses stand and applaud. These were techniques that took years to master. Jackie landed and looked at Bruce. He was slightly out of breath but proud. He had just shown Olympic-level acrobatics. Bruce watched everything in silence. When Jackie finished, Bruce gave a slow nod. He acknowledged the quality of what he had seen. He said Jackie's technique was very good, very athletic. Jackie felt a smile spread across his face. He thought this was approval. He thought Bruce was impressed. But then Bruce continued speaking. His tone stayed calm and educational. He explained that this was not a Peking opera performance. This was a fight scene. The moves Jackie showed looked beautiful, but they were not efficient. They were not realistic. In a real fight, nobody would do a backflip. That move wasted time. It exposed the fighter's back. It gave an opponent opportunity to strike. Jackie's smile disappeared. His pride felt wounded. He had trained his entire life in these techniques. He was one of the best acrobatic performers in all of Hong Kong. Instructors had praised him, audiences had loved him, and now Bruce was dismissing his skills, calling them unrealistic, saying they were not efficient. Heat rose in Jackie's chest. It was wounded pride mixed with youthful arrogance. The combination was dangerous. Words formed in his mouth. He should have stopped them. He should have stayed quiet. But 19-year-old pride is hard to control. The words came out. Jackie said that with respect, maybe Bruce's way was better for real fighting, but in movies, Jackie's moves were more impressive, more exciting. People wanted to see acrobatics. They wanted flips and spectacular movements. That was what made action films successful. That was what audiences paid money to see. The sound stage went quiet. Conversations stopped mid-sentence. Crew members turned their heads. Tools stopped moving. Everyone looked toward Bruce and Jackie. Did that young stuntman just challenge Bruce Lee? Did he just claim his way was better? The air felt heavy with tension. Even Jackie realized immediately that he had made a terrible mistake. His stomach dropped. His face felt hot, but the words were already spoken. They floated in the air between him and Bruce. They could not be taken back. They could not be erased. Bruce set his papers down on an equipment case. He stood up straighter. He walked toward Jackie. His movements were calm and controlled. There was no anger in his steps, no aggression in his posture. But his eyes carried an intensity that made Jackie's mouth go dry. Fear crept into Jackie's chest. Bruce stopped about 3 feet away from Jackie. The distance was deliberate, not too close to be threatening, not too far to lack impact. Bruce spoke. His voice was quiet, but the acoustics of the sound stage carried every word to every corner. Everyone could hear. Bruce asked if Jackie truly believed his moves were more impressive. The question hung in the air. Jackie swallowed hard. His throat felt tight. He tried to clarify. He said he meant for the camera, for entertainment purposes. Bruce raised one hand. The gesture was gentle but firm. It cut Jackie off. Bruce gave Jackie an instruction. He told Jackie to show everyone his most impressive move. The one Jackie was most proud of, the best technique he had. Jackie hesitated. This was not going the way he had planned. He had wanted to share ideas. Instead, he was being challenged in front of 40 witnesses. The entire crew watched. The director had paused all work. Cameras sat idle. Lights stayed in position. Everyone waited to see what would happen next. If Jackie backed down now, he would look weak. He would lose face in front of everyone. His reputation would suffer. Other stunt performers would laugh at him, so his pride made the decision for him. 19-year-old pride that could not accept backing down. Jackie prepared himself. He took several steps back. He needed room for a running start. Then he launched forward. His legs pushed hard against the concrete floor. He jumped into the air. His body performed a front flip. He rotated completely. While upside down, he could see the studio lights. Then he landed in a perfect splits position. His legs spread completely flat. Immediately, he sprang back up into a spinning kick. The execution was absolutely flawless. Several crew members made sounds of appreciation. They had never seen acrobatics that clean, that precise. It was genuinely spectacular. Jackie landed and stood breathing harder, but satisfaction filled him. He had shown everyone what he could do. He had proven his skill level. What happened next would change Jackie's life forever. Bruce Lee nodded after watching Jackie's demonstration. He acknowledged what everyone had just witnessed. He said the technique was very impressive, beautiful execution. Jackie felt a moment of relief. Maybe this would end well after all. Maybe Bruce would now respect his abilities. Then Bruce spoke again. He said he would now show Jackie something. Bruce did not move from his position. He did not take a running start like Jackie had. He did not prepare his body with any special stance. He simply stood in place, relaxed, calm. His arms hung naturally at his sides. Then Bruce moved. It happened so fast that most people on the set did not see it clearly. One moment Bruce was standing 3 feet in front of Jackie. The next moment Bruce was behind him. The transition was a blur. It was like watching a single frame cut from a film. Bruce's body had somehow shifted position in less than a second. Bruce's open palm touched the back of Jackie's neck. The contact was gentle. There was no force behind it, no aggression, just a light touch. Enough for Jackie to feel fingers against his skin, enough to make a point. Jackie froze completely. His entire body went rigid. He had not seen Bruce move, had not heard footsteps, had not sensed any warning. 1 second Bruce was in front of him, then suddenly Bruce was behind him, hand on his neck. In a real fight, that hand could have delivered a devastating strike. It could have ended everything instantly, but it was just a tap. A demonstration, a lesson without violence. Bruce stepped away. He returned to his original position in front of Jackie. The movement was smooth and unhurried. Bruce spoke loud enough for the entire crew to hear. He explained that Jackie's move had taken 5 seconds. It looked beautiful. But during those 5 seconds, Bruce could have struck 3 times. When Jackie was in the air during his flip, he had no control, no ability to defend himself. He was committed to a trajectory he could not change. He was completely vulnerable. Bruce's move had taken 1 second. Jackie had not seen it, had not had time to react, had not even known it was happening until it was already done. Bruce asked a simple question: which move was more impressive, the one that looked good or the one that actually worked? Jackie's face burned with shame. The heat spread from his cheeks down his neck. He had been taught a lesson in front of 40 people. His confidence was shattered. His pride lay in pieces around his feet, but Bruce was not finished with the lesson. Bruce issued another challenge. He told Jackie to come at him, to try to hit him, to use all his acrobatics, all his speed, all his best techniques. Bruce told Jackie to show everyone that his way was truly better. This was not just a challenge. It was also an opportunity for Jackie to learn or to continue being humbled. Jackie took a deep breath. Embarrassment filled his chest, but competitiveness filled his heart. He was young. Part of him still believed his youth and acrobatics could surprise this older fighter. Maybe Bruce had gotten lucky with that first movement. Maybe Jackie could land something if he tried hard enough. Jackie attacked. He launched a spinning kick. Fast, powerful, the kind of kick that had worked in every Peking opera performance. His leg cut through the air with speed, but when the kick arrived at its destination, Bruce was not there. He had moved offline. The movement was minimal, just enough, just precise. Jackie's foot hit nothing but air. Jackie recovered quickly. He tried a combination of punches. Left hand, right hand, left again, quick strikes. But Bruce's hands redirected each punch effortlessly. He did not block them with force. He simply guided them away, like redirecting water flowing from a pipe. The punches went where Bruce wanted them to go, nowhere dangerous. Jackie tried a jump kick next. He put everything into it. He leaped high into the air. His form was perfect. His height was impressive. Any audience would have applauded, but Bruce simply ducked. His body lowered smoothly. Jackie's kick sailed over Bruce's head. The technique missed completely. Before Jackie landed, Bruce was there, waiting. His hand touched Jackie's ribs, the spot where a real strike would have landed. There was enough force for Jackie to feel it. Not enough to cause pain, just enough to communicate a message. You are open, you are vulnerable. I could have finished this fight right now. 8 seconds had passed. In those 8 seconds, Jackie had thrown 6 different techniques. Every single one was avoided or redirected or rendered harmless. And Bruce had not struck back, not really. He had only touched, only demonstrated, proof without violence, teaching without injury. Jackie landed from his final jump kick. He stood there breathing hard, not from physical exhaustion, from the realization that was crashing over him like a wave. Every single thing he thought he knew about fighting had just been proven insufficient. His confidence was not just damaged, it was completely destroyed. Bruce looked at him. There was no anger in Bruce's eyes, no mockery, no satisfaction from winning. The expression was that of a teacher. a teacher who had just shown a student an important lesson. Bruce began to speak. His words were measured and kind despite what had just happened. Bruce acknowledged Jackie's talent. He said Jackie was very talented. His acrobatics were beautiful. His athleticism was impressive. In Peking opera, Jackie was excellent. In stunt work, he would be successful. Bruce predicted Jackie would have a good career. But then came the important part. Bruce told Jackie not to confuse entertainment with effectiveness, not to confuse what looks good with what actually works. Movies were different from combat. In movies, they could feature Jackie's flips. They could make them look amazing with camera angles and editing, but Jackie needed to understand the difference. What Jackie did was art. What Bruce taught was warfare. The two were not the same thing. The shame on Jackie's face was complete and total. He had challenged a master. He had claimed to be better. And he had been proven wrong in front of everyone. His pride lay shattered at his feet. His confidence was broken into pieces. And the worst part was knowing he deserved this. He had spoken without thinking. He had claimed superiority without understanding. He had let arrogance guide his mouth. Tears began to well up in Jackie's eyes. The tears came from deep inside Jackie's chest. They were not from physical pain. His body had a few bruises, but nothing serious. The tears came from humiliation, from the crushing weight of having his arrogance exposed in front of so many witnesses, from understanding that he had been completely wrong. Jackie's hands trembled slightly. He felt small, young, foolish. Everyone was watching him, 40 pairs of eyes. Some crew members looked away, uncomfortable with witnessing this moment. Others watched with sympathy. A few thought Jackie deserved exactly what he got, but everyone recognized they were seeing something important, a teaching moment that would be remembered. Jackie took a step forward, then he bowed. It was not a casual bow, not a quick nod of the head. This was a deep traditional Chinese bow, the kind reserved for masters, the kind given to those who deserve ultimate respect. Jackie's upper body bent forward. His hands pressed together in front of his chest. The bow held respect and apology in equal measure. When Jackie spoke, his voice shook. The words came out unsteady. He addressed Bruce as Sifu again. He apologized. He said he had spoken without thinking, without understanding. He admitted he had been arrogant. He asked Bruce to forgive him. The words were genuine. They came from a place of real regret. The sound stage remained quiet. 40 people watched this young man's ego being dismantled piece by piece. Some felt deep sympathy for Jackie. Nobody liked seeing someone humbled so publicly. Others believed he needed this lesson. Arrogance had to be corrected. Pride had to be broken before real learning could begin. All of them understood they were witnessing something that would become a story told for years. Bruce placed his hand on Jackie's shoulder. The touch was gentle and reassuring. He told Jackie that the apology was accepted. But then Bruce continued. He explained this was not about humiliating Jackie. This was about teaching him. Bruce saw great potential in Jackie. But potential got wasted when it was filled with arrogance. Bruce used a phrase that comes from martial arts philosophy: empty your cup. If your cup is already full, nothing new can be poured in. Jackie needed to empty his cup to learn, to absorb, to become better. Bruce acknowledged that Jackie's acrobatics were a gift. He told Jackie to use them. They were valuable, they were special. But Jackie could not let them make him blind to what he did not know. Skills in one area did not mean expertise in all areas. Being excellent at acrobatics did not automatically mean being excellent at fighting. Understanding the difference was crucial. Then Bruce turned to address the entire crew. His voice carried across the sound stage. He spoke about skills and training. Everyone there had skills. Everyone had trained in their specific areas. Camera operators knew cameras, lighting technicians knew lights, stunt performers knew stunts. But the moment anyone believed they knew everything, they stopped learning. The moment anyone thought they were better than others without testing that belief, they became foolish. Bruce pointed out that Jackie was young. Youth came with mistakes. That was natural, expected. But Jackie also had the courage to apologize. That courage was more valuable than any technique, more important than any acrobatic skill. The ability to admit being wrong showed character. That character would take Jackie far in life if he nurtured it. The tension in the room began to ease. Crew members returned to their tasks. The lesson was over. Work needed to resume. The director called for everyone to return to positions. Cameras needed to roll. The scene still had to be filmed. The production schedule did not stop for personal drama. Jackie performed his role in the scene. He did exactly what was asked of him. When the choreography required him to fall, he fell. When other actors hit him, he took the hits convincingly. He made their strikes look powerful and real. He did his job as a professional stunt performer. But everything had changed inside him. The arrogance was gone, completely removed like a tumor cut out by a surgeon. In its place was humility, real humility that came from being proven wrong. But there was also something else. A hunger, a deep desire to learn, to understand what Bruce understood, to know what Bruce knew. Bruce knew. The filming continued through the afternoon, take after take. The mirror room scene required many attempts. Getting the angles right was difficult. The reflections complicated everything. But eventually the director was satisfied. He called for the day's work to end. Crew members began packing equipment. Lights were turned off, cables were coiled up. The sound stage slowly emptied. Jackie gathered his belongings. His bag contained a water bottle and a towel. His body ached from the day's work, but his mind ached more. He kept replaying the encounter, kept seeing Bruce move faster than his eyes could follow, kept feeling that gentle tap on his neck that could have been a deadly strike. Before leaving, Jackie made a decision. He had to try. The worst Bruce could do was say no. Jackie walked across the nearly empty sound stage. Bruce was talking with the director. They were reviewing tomorrow's shooting schedule. Jackie waited respectfully at a distance. He did not interrupt. Bruce noticed Jackie waiting. He finished his conversation with the director, then he walked over to where Jackie stood. Bruce's expression was neutral. Not cold, but not particularly warm either. He waited for Jackie to speak. Jackie's heart pounded. He asked his question. He addressed Bruce as Sifu. He asked if Bruce would teach him, not for the movie, not for work, for himself. Jackie said he wanted to learn what Bruce knew. He wanted to understand. The request hung in the air between them. Bruce studied Jackie's face carefully. He looked into the young man's eyes. Bruce had trained many people over the years. He knew how to recognize genuine desire to learn versus empty words. He had seen people apologize because they had to, not because they meant it. He had encountered students who wanted shortcuts to mastery, who wanted secrets without putting in work. But in Jackie's eyes, Bruce saw something real. Genuine humility had replaced the earlier arrogance. The wounded pride had transformed into honest hunger for knowledge. This was a young man who had learned something today, who wanted to learn more, who understood now that he had much to learn. Bruce's expression softened slightly. He gave a small nod. He told Jackie to come to his training school tomorrow evening. They would train together. But Bruce added an important condition. He would not teach Jackie to become like Bruce. That was impossible. Every person was unique. Every fighter had different attributes. Instead, Bruce would teach Jackie to become a better version of himself. Bruce explained his philosophy. Jackie would always be Jackie Chan, an acrobat, a performer, an entertainer. Those qualities were part of who Jackie was. They should not be erased. But Jackie could also become a martial artist if he was willing to work. The two things could coexist. Acrobatics and martial arts could blend together in the right hands. Jackie's face lit up. Relief and gratitude flooded through him. He bowed again, not as deep as before, but respectfully. He promised Bruce he would work hard. He would not waste this opportunity. He would put in whatever effort was required. The words came from his heart. Bruce gave Jackie the address of his training school. He told Jackie to arrive at 6 in the evening, to wear comfortable clothes, to bring water, to prepare for hard work. Then Bruce left the sound stage. His car was waiting outside. He had other responsibilities, meetings, phone calls. A movie star's life was busy. Jackie stood alone in the nearly empty sound stage. The space felt different now. The same concrete floor, the same metal lights, the same equipment, but everything had changed for Jackie. His perspective had shifted. His understanding had grown. A few hours ago, he had been an arrogant young performer. Now he was a student about to begin real training. The next evening, Jackie arrived at Bruce's school early. He wore simple clothing, loose pants, a plain shirt. He brought a bottle of water and a towel. His stomach felt nervous, but it was good nervousness, anticipation rather than fear. Bruce's school was not large or fancy. It was a simple training space, wooden floors, mirrors on one wall, equipment in corners, punching bags hanging from the ceiling. Everything was clean and organized. The space felt serious. This was a place for work, not show. Bruce arrived exactly at 6. Punctuality was important to him. Time was valuable. Wasting it was disrespectful. He greeted Jackie with a nod. Then training began immediately. No long speeches, no ceremonies, just work. That first session lasted 2 hours. Bruce did not teach fancy techniques. He taught basics: how to stand properly, how to distribute weight, how to move efficiently, where to keep hands for defense, how to generate power from the ground up through the body. These were fundamentals that Jackie had never learned in Peking Opera School. The training was hard. Bruce corrected Jackie's posture constantly, adjusted his stance, moved his arms to better positions, made him repeat simple movements dozens of times. Jackie's legs burned from holding positions. His shoulders ached from keeping his guard up. Sweat soaked his shirt, but Jackie did not complain. Did not ask for breaks unless Bruce offered them. He absorbed everything. He listened to every word. He tried to feel what Bruce described, the connection between feet and fists, the way balance affected power, the importance of being rooted to the ground while remaining mobile. At the end of the session, Bruce gave Jackie homework. He told Jackie to practice the basic stance every day. Morning and evening, 10 minutes each time, just standing. Feeling the connection to the ground, building the foundation. Everything else would come later, but the foundation had to be solid. Jackie returned 2 more times over the next month. Bruce was busy with post-production work on Enter the Dragon. He had to review footage, approve edits, record voiceover, attend meetings with distributors. His schedule was packed, but he made time for Jackie. 3 sessions, 6 hours total, not much time but enough to plant seeds. In those sessions, Jackie learned more than he had learned in years of other training. Bruce taught him about economy of motion. Every movement should have a purpose. Wasted motion was wasted energy. In a real fight, energy was precious. Running out of energy meant losing. Bruce taught Jackie about reading an opponent, watching their eyes, their shoulders, their weight distribution. These things told a story. They revealed intentions before actions happened. A skilled fighter read these signs and responded before the attack even launched. Bruce taught Jackie the difference between form and function. Forms were patterns. Choreographed movements practiced for muscle memory and conditioning. Functions were applications. How those movements actually worked in combat. Many martial artists knew forms but did not understand functions. They could perform beautiful patterns but could not fight effectively. Jackie absorbed all of this like a sponge soaking up water, his notebook filled with observations. His mind replayed conversations. His body practiced movements even when he was not training. Standing in line at a store, he would check his posture. Walking down the street, he would focus on his balance. This knowledge became part of him, but Bruce learned something too during those sessions. He watched how Jackie moved. The fluidity of his acrobatics, the creativity of his movements, the fearlessness when it came to physical risks. Bruce saw that Jackie's acrobatic skills, when combined with martial arts principles, could create something unique. Something the world had never seen, a style that was both effective and entertaining. Bruce mentioned this to Jackie during their final session. Bruce told Jackie that he possessed something special, a combination that was rare. Most martial artists could not do the acrobatics Jackie did. Most acrobats did not understand real fighting like martial artists did. Jackie stood at an intersection between both worlds. If he developed properly, he could create his own path, his own style that honored both traditions. Jackie listened carefully. This was different from the advice he expected. He thought Bruce would tell him to abandon acrobatics and focus purely on martial arts, to become serious and traditional. Instead, Bruce was telling him to embrace what made him unique, to blend both sides of his training into something new. Bruce explained his philosophy of martial arts. He spoke about being like water. Water adapted to whatever container held it. Water found paths around obstacles. Water could be gentle like a stream or powerful like a waterfall. A true martial artist adapted to circumstances, did not lock into rigid patterns, did not insist there was only one correct way. Jackie could be like water too. He could take his acrobatic foundation and add martial arts principles. He could take martial arts effectiveness and add acrobatic creativity. The result would be purely his own, not a copy of Bruce, not a copy of anyone else, something that only Jackie Chan could do. These words planted themselves deep in Jackie's mind. They would guide his entire career. Years later, when Jackie developed his signature style of action comedy, he would remember this conversation. The permission Bruce gave him to be himself while still being effective, to entertain while still being authentic. Their final training session ended on a July evening in 1973. Bruce had to leave for a business meeting. He shook Jackie's hand, told him to keep training, to keep learning, to stay humble but confident. Jackie thanked Bruce, bowed respectfully, left the school not knowing he would never see his teacher alive again. Less than 2 weeks later, Jackie heard the news. Bruce Lee was dead. The details were confusing. Something about a reaction to medication, a headache, a visit to a hospital, then sudden death. Bruce was only 32 years old, at the peak of his career with so much more to give the world. Jackie was devastated. The loss hit him hard. This was not just a famous actor dying. This was his teacher, his mentor, someone who had seen Jackie's potential but also his flaws, someone who cared enough to correct him, to teach him, to guide him toward becoming better. Jackie attended the funeral. Thousands of people filled the streets of Hong Kong. Bruce's death shocked the entire city. Fans wept openly. Fellow martial artists paid respects. The film industry mourned one of its brightest stars. Jackie stood among the crowd, tears streaming down his face. He had only known Bruce for a short time, only trained with him 3 times, but the impact was enormous. In the weeks and months after Bruce's death, Jackie thought constantly about their encounter on the Enter the Dragon set, about being humbled in 8 seconds, about the lesson Bruce taught in front of 40 witnesses. About the patience Bruce showed afterward, the willingness to teach despite Jackie's initial arrogance. Jackie realized something important. Bruce could have destroyed his career that day, could have made sure Jackie never worked on another film set. One word to the right producer, one negative comment to the stunt coordinators union, Jackie's reputation would have been ruined before it started, but Bruce chose a different path. Bruce destroyed Jackie's ego instead of his career, and in doing so gave Jackie the foundation to build something real. Years passed, Jackie's career grew slowly at first. He took stunt jobs, small acting roles. He worked hard, he kept training, he experimented with his style. He began to blend his acrobatic skills with martial arts effectiveness. He added comedy to his fight scenes. He did dangerous stunts that made audiences gasp. He created something unique, something that was purely Jackie Chan. By the late 1970s and early 1980s, Jackie became a star in Asia. Films like Snake in the Eagle's Shadow and Drunken Master showcased his unique style. By the 1990s, he broke through in Western markets. Rush Hour and Shanghai Noon made him a global superstar. His name became synonymous with action comedy. Throughout his rise, Jackie never forgot the lesson from that August morning in 1973. He told the story in interviews. He wrote about it in his autobiography. He mentioned it during award acceptance speeches. The story became legend in the Hong Kong film industry. The day Jackie Chan challenged Bruce Lee. The day a cocky young stuntman learned that talent without humility was worthless. Jackie always emphasized certain points when telling the story. Bruce taught him the most important lesson anyone had ever taught him. Being impressive was not the same as being effective. Looking good was not the same as being good. True mastery required humility. Without humility, skills were just party tricks. Jackie described himself as a cocky kid who needed that lesson. He needed his ego destroyed so something better could be built in its place. As Jackie's fame grew worldwide, reporters asked him countless questions. They wanted to know his secrets, his training methods, his inspirations. Jackie always came back to Bruce Lee, always credited that encounter as a turning point, the moment when his real education began. In one interview in the late 1990s, Jackie explained it clearly. He said that before meeting Bruce, he thought being skilled meant being flashy. He thought audiences only cared about spectacle, about flips and spins and acrobatic displays. He believed that was enough to be successful, but Bruce showed him something deeper. Bruce showed him that real skill combined effectiveness with presentation. That true mastery meant understanding purpose behind every movement. That the most impressive technique was the one that actually worked. These lessons changed how Jackie approached his entire career. Jackie incorporated those principles into his film work. When he choreographed fight scenes for his movies, he insisted they look entertaining but also logical. Every move had to make sense within the context of the fight. He avoided purely decorative movements that served no purpose. His acrobatics were amazing, but they also functioned as attacks or escapes or creative solutions to problems. This approach made Jackie's fight scenes different from other action stars. His fights told stories. They had humor and personality. They showcased his character's intelligence and adaptability. Audiences did not just watch stunts. They watched a character using his environment creatively to survive against stronger opponents. The acrobatics served the story rather than existing just for show. Jackie also learned about humility from that encounter. Throughout his career, he maintained respect for other martial artists and action performers. He never claimed to be the best fighter. He acknowledged his limitations. He praised other performers' skills. He remained a student even as he became a master in his own right. When young performers came to work with Jackie on his films, he treated them the way Bruce had treated him. He corrected mistakes but also encouraged growth. He humbled arrogance but never destroyed confidence. He taught that real strength came from knowing both your abilities and your limitations. This teaching style earned him respect and loyalty from everyone who worked with him. The story of Jackie challenging Bruce became a teaching tool. Jackie told it to young performers who showed too much arrogance. He used it as an example during interviews about martial arts philosophy. He included it in his books about his life and career. The story had power because it was real and because it showed transformation. Jackie always emphasized that Bruce could have handled the situation differently. Bruce could have been angry, could have been cruel, could have used his position and power to punish a disrespectful young stuntman. Instead, Bruce chose to teach, chose to demonstrate rather than dominate, chose to build up rather than tear down. That choice made all the difference. The 8 seconds that changed Jackie's life were not just about martial arts technique. They were about character, about how masters should treat students, about how to correct without destroying, about how to maintain discipline while still showing kindness. These were lessons that extended far beyond fighting. They were life lessons. In interviews late in his career, when Jackie had become an elder statesman of action cinema, he often reflected on mortality. Bruce died so young, only 32. With so much potential still unrealized, Jackie lived decades longer, built a massive career, became wealthy and famous worldwide. But he always credited those 3 training sessions and that one crucial encounter as foundational. Jackie wondered sometimes what Bruce would think of his career. Would Bruce be proud? Would he approve of how Jackie blended acrobatics with martial arts? Would he think Jackie had lived up to his potential? These questions had no answers. But they motivated Jackie to keep improving, keep innovating, keep respecting the art. The lesson remained relevant across decades and across changing film industries. No matter how skilled you become, there is always someone who knows more, always something to learn, always room to grow. Jackie learned it the hard way in front of 40 witnesses. In 8 seconds that demonstrated the gap between where he was and where he needed to be. But those 8 seconds also contained a gift, the gift of real teaching, the gift of correction that came from care rather than anger, the gift of a master who saw potential in a foolish young man and chose to nurture it rather than crush it. That gift shaped Jackie's entire life. Every time Jackie performed a dangerous stunt, he thought about effectiveness and purpose. Every time he choreographed a fight scene, he remembered the difference between form and function. Every time he worked with young performers, he channeled Bruce's patient teaching style. The 8 seconds extended across a lifetime of choices and actions. The story became part of cinema history. Film students studied it, martial artists discussed it. Biographers included it in books about both Bruce Lee and Jackie Chan. It represented a moment when 2 legends intersected, when a master taught and a student learned, when arrogance met wisdom and wisdom won. Jackie Chan built a career that spanned continents and generations. He performed stunts that defied belief. He made audiences laugh and gasp in equal measure. He created a style that was instantly recognizable and impossible to copy. He achieved everything he had dreamed of as a young performer in Hong Kong. But he never forgot being 19 years old on a sound stage in Kowloon. Never forgot the feel of Bruce's hand on the back of his neck. Never forgot the lesson taught in 8 seconds. That lesson became the foundation for everything else. The moment when his real education began. The day he learned that true mastery required humility, and that humility opened doors that arrogance kept locked forever. That was the story Jackie Chan told throughout his life. The story of challenging Bruce Lee and learning the most important lesson in 8 seconds. A lesson about martial arts, about character, about life itself. A lesson that changed everything.